Nations qualifying match, Nigeria draws with Egypt. Hello there, thanks for joining us on the news on NTA International. I'm Joseph Johnson. As Christians in Nigeria join the rest of the world to celebrate Good Friday, the suffering, crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ at Calvary, they have been challenged to learn from the past and be people that promote good instead of evil. This was the thrust of the sermon at some churches in Abuja. Ifeanyi Zumba reports.
At the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria, Otako, Pastor Daniel Mbaye, whose sermon is, "It is not right, the greatest crime in history," says Good Friday signifies the price Jesus Christ paid for mankind.
Why will this day be called good while somebody is dying? It is good not for the person that died, but it is good for us that he died for us. So the death that we are witnessing of Jesus Christ today, that we are remembering, gave us salvation, redeemed us, and made us to be children of the kingdom. So we are trying now to live as the gospel wants us to live, so that we will fight evil and promote good.
At the Eternal Sacred Order of Cherubim and Seraphim Area 1, Senior Apostle Michael Osamo urged Christians to emulate the humility of Jesus Christ.
Throughout this week, we've had the Passion, beginning on Sunday when the King himself, God himself, rode on a donkey, on an ass, a young donkey. He rode into Jerusalem. He cleared Jerusalem of all the merchants. He suffered, and today he is dying for our sins.
In Abuja, Ifeanyi Zumba, NTA News.
Against the background of the dispensation of change in Nigeria, religious leaders and opinion leaders say sacrifice for nationhood is paramount. This is the stand of Gaz on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria program this Good Friday. Abdul Malik Adio tells us more.
In time is humanity more vividly reminded of the significance of sacrifice to human progress and nation building as a period of Easter. This is often tied to the sacrifice made by Jesus Christ to die for others. In line with this, experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria are calling on Nigerians to imbibe the virtue of sacrifice as a necessary tool for nation building. The clergyman and other discussants pointed out the need for leaders and followers alike to make lifestyle adjustments that will put others and the nation first.
The path to greatness, to nation building, is giving up something to get something. And it's not giving up something for short term. It's giving up something for a higher good because it is long term.
Sacrifice does not cover a person sacrificing his life in order to kill others. Give that sacrifice. Sacrifice your desire, sacrifice your ambition and self-aggrandizement so that the country will be what it's supposed to be.
So critical sacrifices will have to be made in terms of governance, in terms of leadership, and the first sacrifice comes from the citizens. And I think the youth of this country have made massive sacrifices more than ever before.
So we need to think again about managing our time properly for our development. That is the sacrifice.
They urged Nigerians as they reunite with their loved ones and friends, the sister, to devote their time to reflect on the larger questions of nationhood and practical demonstration of the core values of their religions. This, they say, will create a better society for this generation and children yet unborn. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Adio, NTA News.
Meanwhile, to ensure a peaceful and incident-free Easter celebrations, the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has directed all Zonal Assistant Inspector Generals and State Command Commissioners of Police to take necessary measures in ensuring the provision of adequate security for worshippers, travelers, picnickers, and all citizens across the country before, during, and after the festive period. In a statement by the Force PRO, Olabisi Kolawole, the IGP restates the resolve and commitment of the present police administration to reposition the force for greater efficiency. And in the spirit of the Easter season, the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Synod of the North, has donated food items to the internally displaced persons in the new Kochungoro camp after a brief Good Friday service, Miogidi reports.
It was a moment of sober reflection on the pains Jesus Christ went through on the cross of Calvary as a price for the sins committed by humanity. Taking solace in the fact that the crucifixion comes with redemption, Reverend Totti Ono of the Presbyterian Church admonished the congregation to sin no more and show love to one another.
Even though there was so much pain on the first Good Friday, but the pain was for our good, that we may be saved from the power of sin and Satan and be set free to worship God freely.
After this service, the men's wing of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Synod of the North, proceeded to the new Kochungori IDP camp and distributed food items as a practical demonstration of love, which Jesus Christ epitomized.
They have come to identify with the plights of the IDPs in this camp. And today is Good Friday, a day that Jesus demonstrated extreme love by dying for us.
It's rather very unfortunate that due to no fault of theirs, they've been displaced. So we as men, we put our heads together and decided to buy some foodstuff, some clothing, and make a token contribution to alleviate some of their plight, to alleviate their suffering.
You can continue to pray for us.
Amen.
By the grace of God, very soon we are going back to our villages.
In Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
And now let's bring you other news. As terrorism takes a global dimension, it has become expedient for nations, institutions and people to jointly fight it to a halt. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, said this in a message to mark the 47th National Day of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan in Abuja. Gabriel Odu reports.
Nigeria and Pakistan are members of the 8 developing nations and close partners facing similar challenges, especially the problem of insurgency. But Ambassador Bulus Lolo, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, believes things could turn around if there is closer ties.
Pakistan is highly industrialized in its own way. If they can design and manufacture a fighter aircraft for their national security, Nigeria has similar brains that we should do the same.
The Pakistani ambassador to Nigeria, Lieutenant General Aga Omar Farouk, observes that radicalism has debased human values, but there is ray of hope for the future of both countries.
It can only be fought when we all come together, irrespective of our civilizations, history, ideologies, religions, faiths. That is the only way to fight against it.
Nigeria and Pakistan have cooperation in defense production and training and other sectors.
I believe we can learn a lot. We work together with Pakistan to ensure that our agri sector is fully developed to its fullest capacity.
Pakistan became an independent country in 1947. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
The presidency has dissociated itself from the I Stand with Buhari advocacy group and demands that the group should immediately stop claiming any alliance with the Buhari administration. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the presidency also demands that the persons behind the controversial I Stand with Buhari group should stop using President Muhammadu Buhari's name and that of his wife, Aisha Buhari, to promote themselves and their activities. While the present administration has recorded significant successes in its priority areas of improving security across the country, ending Boko Haram, revamping Nigeria's economy, President Buhari, the statement adds, is well aware that his government still has a lot of national challenges to overcome. The presidency in the statement prefers to give the fullest attention to addressing those challenges without the unsolicited and unwelcome distraction of untimely praise singing from groups with dubious and questionable motives. Now, a 15-man House of Representatives ad hoc committee to investigate all oil prospecting licenses and oil mining licenses granted by the federal government, amongst other issues in the oil and gas sector, has been inaugurated by the Speaker Yakubu Dogara. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the ad hoc committee has Gideon Gwani as chairman.
The committee has the mandate to ascertain the total number of oil prospecting licenses and oil mining leases granted and their expiry dates, as well as find out whether due process and guidelines for the acquisition of oil and gas assets were complied with. The Speaker, represented by the House Minority Leader Leo Ogo, challenged the ad hoc committee members to do a thorough job, as the investigations will complement federal government's efforts in unraveling the challenges of the oil and gas sector, with a view to finding lasting solutions that will open a new vista for the country's economy.
I believe that the essence of this investigation further is to make sure that the right things are done and are done this time. We also want to find out the modality and the methodology in which the renewals were processed.
Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Representative Gideon Gwani, says the mandate of the committee is timely, especially with the current dwindling oil price at the global market.
We owe it a duty. We are also aware of the gravity of this assignment, and we will leave no stone unturned to get to the root and causes of the problem.
The ad hoc committee also solicited the cooperation of all concerned to enable it come up with adequate recommendations for the benefit of Nigerians. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration is set to punish violators of traffic rules and regulations in the nation's capital, as the FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello commissions the Abuja City Watch Patrol, comprising of 10 motorbikes meant to apprehend traffic offenders. Mitare Ekben tells us more.
The motorbikes provided by the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, are to be manned by 8 Assistant Superintendents of Police and 2 inspectors. They will be strategically stationed at 10 major traffic intersections across Abuja to arrest traffic violators.
The issue of traffic management is something we hold very dearly. People will be arrested, taken to court, and prosecuted.
FCT Commissioner of Police, Wilson Nalegu, said the patrol team will also provide effective security surveillance in the Abuja metropolis by facilitating rapid response to criminal activities.
Their mandate is to stop impunity and other petty crimes that occur at those junctions, like handbag snatching, phone snatching, and even to observe in case one chance.
The FCT minister promised to procure additional motorbikes to cover more areas in the federal capital city. In Abuja, Mitare Ekben, NTA News.
Asserts its operations against the global migrants crisis and immigration in line with the international best practice. The Comptroller General of the Service, Martin Kure Abashi, made this known at a media briefing ahead of the 2016 Comptroller General's Annual Conference and Stakeholders Interactive Forum, scheduled to hold in April. The conference, which will hold in Lafia, Nasarawa State, will, among other issues, examine immigration practices and visa laws, condition of security, personnel at borders, and migration management through legislation.
The conference will offer participants the platform to evaluate all papers presented, opinions and positions reached in order to fairly, expeditiously, and uniformly interpret and administer immigration laws, practices, and other related instruments in a standard operational procedure SOP documents. It is expected that the SOP will be presented and considered at the Federal Executive Council and likely gazetted as a policy document.
The prospect and challenges of immigration in Nigeria. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation says it is working round the clock to ensure a constant supply of petroleum products across the country. The Group General Manager Public Affairs of the NNPC, Garabaddin Mohammed, gave the assurance while addressing newsmen today in Abuja. Dele Atunbi reports.
In the last few weeks, motorists have been experiencing long queues at various filling stations in the country as a result of scarcity of petroleum products. In addressing the issue, the NNPC spokesman, Garabaddin Mohammed, identified panic buying and gaps in fuel supply as some of the factors responsible for the long queues in most filling stations across the country. He said with the NNPC's short-term plan, the long queues will disappear within the next 1 or 2 weeks.
Let me assure Nigerians that everything that is to be done is being done to ensure that the fuel queues that we have now disappear within the next 1 week or maximum 2 weeks.
He said the lasting solution to the problem, which is the long-term plan, is receiving urgent attention. The long-term plan includes fixing of pipelines and refineries, as well as increase in supply of crude, while efforts are intensified to remove the long queues currently being experienced.
So the long-term solutions may take maybe between now and May.
NNPC says in the next 2 months, the long-term plan will be concluded in the best interest of Nigerians. In Abuja, Dele Atunbi, NTA News.
You're watching News NTA International News from Abuja, Nigeria. More news after the break. Don't go away.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Many thanks for staying with us. A number of paid TV networks operating illegally in Warri, Delta State have been closed down by authorities of the Nigeria Copyrights Commission. Austin Edemodu reports.
The operatives of the Nigerian Copyright Commission chopped off illegally connected cables which stretched the entire buildings in the state town Onya Alaja. For these operators of the illegal cable TV distribution network, connecting more houses mean more money, though at the detriment of the cable television companies. Some of the residents who patronize these illegal connections said it is cheaper and convenient for them. The Director of Enforcement's Nigerian Copyright Commission, Augustine Amodu, who led the operation, expressed worry at a high level of proliferation in Warri. He said the commission will continue to carry out surveillance and prosecute offenders.
This house-to-house wiring is a cankerworm that is biting deep into the fabric of broadcast. Where you buy a decoder belonging to a pay TV and you wire over 200 houses and collect 3,000 or 2,000 as your remuneration for what you are doing, which is not legal.
However, relief came to these two lucky residents who were presented with pay TV decoders as to discourage them from patronizing pirates.
Whichever they want they can afford, they should go for it so that they have peace.
The exercise continues in other parts of the country. From Warri, I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Apologies for the loss of sound in some parts of that report. Up next is Muplang Dakok with some business news.
Overnight interbank lending rates rose to double digit this weekend as the Central Bank of Nigeria recalled about 400 billion naira from the banking system to meet the new cash reserve requirement by the Monetary Policy Committee. The overnight interbank rates was quoted at 13.63 on Friday against 7.425 on Thursday. The Central Bank of Nigeria's latest annual report reveals that the volume of electronic payments in the country in 2014 surged by 41% year-on-year to 456 million, with a volume increase of 39% year-on-year to 4.4 trillion naira. The report shows that automated teller machine ATM remained the leading channel for transactions, accounting for 88% of the total volume. The tourism industry contributed about $7.2 trillion in gross domestic product GDP to the global economy. The data given by the World Travel and Tourism Council indicates that tourism added 7.2 million jobs to the global economy. The report added that although tourism has been affected globally by terror attacks, disease outbreaks, and currency fluctuations, the impact of the sector has continued to produce robust performance. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
And a bit on health, a stitch in time, they say, saves 9. The popular saying perhaps underscores the need to tackle the issue of malnutrition, which medical experts believe is crucial in reducing child mortality in Nigeria. Uchenwizu in this special report highlights inadequate attention to nutrition as a silent crisis.
Malnutrition is a condition that occurs when people do not consume the right amounts and types of food and essential nutrients they need to grow and develop to their full potentials. 2015 World Health Organization statistics shows that malnutrition contributes to half of all deaths of children under age 5 globally, and Nigeria is rated among the highest with the burden, which is likely to increase due to victims of insurgency. Taking time out to dine with some families to monitor how balanced their diets are, one observed that they knew little and nothing about healthy nutrition.
It's not every day that I used to eat the swallow in the, like spaghetti. Sometimes I will cook indomie. We don't have enough money to feed the family. Some days we go to bed on empty stomach.
Malnutrition is called a silent crisis because it is happening and most people are not even aware of it, and as such it does not get needed attention. The families of both the well-to-do and the less privileged I have visited confirmed this. The 2013 Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey reports that about 1 million Nigerian children under age 5 die each year, half due to malnutrition. It also reveals that 4 out of 5 children do not meet WHO's recommendation for exclusive breastfeeding.
If we could do something about improving nutrition situation, it's not only that children will grow better and even their intelligence will improve, but they will also be better protected against diseases and they're much less likely to die.
Realizing the benefits of combating malnutrition, Nigeria has joined international organizations and development partners to mobilize broad commitment and resources to advance global nutrition agenda.
We are already at an advanced stage through the minister's special project, the Rapid Result Project, to treat 200,000 severely malnourished children in the northeast and northwestern part of the country within a period of 100 days.
In addition to this, nutrition experts are advocating integration of nutrition into cross-sector strategies, policies and programs at all levels. Uchenwizu, NTA News.
And now let's quickly check out stories making headlines in other parts of the world.
10 suspects have been arrested in connection with the Brussels attacks of last Tuesday, which claimed 31 lives. Police, after a house-to-house raid on Friday in the city of Schaerbeek district in Brussels, arrested and detained 7, while 2 people were detained in Germany. 1 suspect is caught in Paris. Same Friday, 2 explosions were heard in Brussels. Reports say investigation continues into the attacks linked to the November Paris incident of 2015. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel have held a press conference on counter-terrorism. 2016 marks the centenary of the Easter Rising. The uprising was one of the defining moments of the struggle for Irish independence from Britain, which began on Easter Monday of 1916 with the reading of the proclamation by Padraig Pearse that left approximately 300 casualties and saw to the execution of 16 rebel leaders. The government of Ireland, Dublin, has unveiled a massive commemorative program beginning from Easter Sunday with emphasis on remembrance and reconciliation. The nationally televised military ceremony will feature memorial services and parade through the city. Nancy Godianganihu, NTA News.
And talking sports now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Pharaohs of Egypt a short while ago played a 1-1 draw in the first leg of the 2017 qualifying Series 2 of the African Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles will on Tuesday, 29th of March, be in Egypt for the return leg. And that's Sport Update does it on the news on NTA International. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Bye-bye.